Why Penny Week? Beckles has failed the people of Trinidad and Tobago, a response to her Facebook sermon of May 19, 2026. Penny Beckles posted a statement accusing the PM of failing the nation. WZYE-TV checked the record. It is Beckles, who sat in Parliament for years, said nothing while the PNM destroyed the country, and is now universally regarded as the weakest opposition leader in TNT history. Opposition leader Penelope Week Beckles took to Facebook on May 19 to deliver what she intended as a devastating indictment of Prime Minister Kamla Persad and the UNC government. She accused the PM of failing to show compassion, failing on contracts, failing on economic growth, and failing on crime. She spoke of questionable characters, referenced landmark TT Gate and HDC Gate, called the government wicked, uncaring, and incompetent, and once again told the Prime Minister to leave me alone. WZYE-TV now presents 10 reasons why it is Beckles herself who has failed the people of Trinidad and Tobago. 1. Beckles accuses the PM of failing to show compassion, yet she sat in Parliament from 2020 to 2025 while the PNM presided over record murder rates, collapsing social services, and the systematic neglect of vulnerable communities, and said absolutely nothing.
She showed no compassion then.
She held no press conferences for grieving families. For a decade, the people suffered under PNM governance, and Beckles was silent. She did not fail to show compassion.
She chose not to.
2. She demands answers on $4 billion in contracts, yet she served in a PNM government that oversaw some of the most questionable procurement decisions in the nation's history. Where was her outrage about PNM contract management when she sat on the government benches? She asked no questions because asking would have required the one thing she has never demonstrated: the courage to hold her own side accountable. 3. She accuses the UNC of failing to stimulate growth, but the data contradicts her. Energy grew 2.2% in the first 3 quarters of 2025. Manufacturing expanded by 12%. Consumer spending rose 8.1%. The economy recorded a $100 million fiscal surplus in Q1 of fiscal 2026. Brent crude is trading around $105, far above budgeted projections. Either Beckles is unaware of the data, making her incompetent, or she is deliberately misleading the public, making her dishonest. 4. She accuses the government of having no crime plan, yet the PNM governed for 10 years and left behind one of the highest per capita murder rates in the Western Hemisphere. Beckles defended that record. She enabled it. She watched it unfold without a word of dissent. For her to demand a crime plan while offering no alternative of her own is not opposition. It is performance. 5. She speaks of questionable characters in the UNC, referencing ministers on bail. This from the leader whose own senator, Janelle John Bates, was caught assisting a witness in preparing testimony before a parliamentary committee, and Beckles still has not acted decisively. She told the nation to leave me alone. The PNM's glass house is in no condition to sustain the stones she is throwing. 6. She calls it oxymoronic that Persad would lecture her on integrity, yet Beckles has demonstrated no integrity in handling the John Bates affair, no integrity in refusing to acknowledge the PNM's decade of failure, and no integrity in misrepresenting economic data. Integrity is not a word you invoke. It is a standard you demonstrate. 7. She claims the government is on the verge of collapse with no evidence. The UNC won a general election, commands a parliamentary majority, and its economic indicators are positive. Repeating a claim on Facebook does not constitute analysis. It constitutes wishful thinking from an opposition leader with no strategy beyond hoping the government implodes. 8. She says she will hold the UNC to account on behalf of the people. Beckles has held no one to account for anything in her entire career. Not the PNM, when it was her government. Not her own senators in misconduct. Her version of accountability is posting on Facebook and telling everyone to leave her alone. 9. She references blue-eyed boy Barry Patterath and water supply in the same breath, revealing the scattershot nature of her messaging. She jumps from contracts to crime to water to personal attacks without coherence, evidence, or policy alternatives. A credible opposition leader presents a counter-narrative supported by data and vision. Beckles presents a Facebook post that reads like grievances compiled in frustration. 10. Penny Beckles is considered the weakest opposition leader in TNT history because she has earned it. She was silent while the PNM destroyed the economy. Silent while crime consumed communities. Silent while public institutions were hollowed out. Now from the opposition benches, she has found her voice, but only to say, "Leave me alone," and post statements accusing others of the failures she enabled for a decade. The people did not fail Penny Beckles. Penny Beckles failed the people. She failed them when she had power and chose silence. She fails them now by choosing performance over substance. And she will continue to fail them for as long as she occupies a position that demands a spine she does not have, a stomach for accountability she has never demonstrated, and a belly for the fight she has never been willing to wage. The people of Trinidad and Tobago will not leave you alone, Penny. They will hold you to the same standard you pretend to hold others. And by that standard, you have failed. Completely. WZYE-TV noted it. WZYE-TV, Caribbean News. No filter. No fear.